In the meticulously manicured suburban landscape of Ardan Woods, a new arrival was about to disrupt the fragile peace. This wasn't a battle over lawn aesthetics or unapproved trash bins. It was a deeper, more insidious conflict for control, and it began the day Serena Vance, a black woman of quiet dignity and sharp intellect, moved in. Serena was an enigma. Her self-assured grace and calm demeanor belied a past that was anything but tranquil. For 2 decades, she had operated in the shadows as a deep-cover operative, specializing in corporate espionage and counterintelligence. Her days were spent dissecting complex networks of deception, her nights navigating the gray zones of a world few knew existed. Now, she sought a new life, a semblance of normalcy in a place where the biggest concern was a misplaced garden gnome. But the quiet of Ardan Woods was a deception in itself, a carefully constructed facade maintained by its self-appointed king, Arthur Blackwood. Arthur wasn't just the head of the Ardan Woods Residents Alliance, AWRA. It was its unchallenged emperor. A charismatic man whose smile never quite reached his eyes, he commanded the neighborhood with a blend of false charm and iron-fisted control. From a moment he saw Serena, her presence a striking, unwelcome deviation from the neighborhood's monochromatic demographics. He sensed a foreign element in his perfect domain. Her very existence was a challenge, a variable he could not control and, more importantly, would not tolerate. The harassment began with the subtlety of a slow-moving storm. First came the official-looking notes, slid into her mailbox with passive-aggressive precision, citing trivial violations. An unapproved terracotta pot, the wrong shade of trim on her garage door. To anyone else, it would have been a petty nuisance. But to Serena, they were opening moves in a tactical game she knew all too well. This wasn't just about rules. It was about intimidation, a way of testing her defenses and establishing dominance, all cloaked in the acceptable language of community standards. The escalation was swift and precise. One night, her smart home system malfunctioned, her lights flickering on and off in an unsettling sequence. A week later, her email was flooded with thousands of spam messages, a crude but effective form of digital harassment. Then came the physical intimidation. A contractor's van accidentally backed into her mailbox, leaving a small, almost unnoticeable gouge. But painted beneath the damage, in a barely there spray of silver, was a symbol she had seen only in classified files, a cold case marker used by a notorious white supremacist syndicate to signal a target was under surveillance. The message was no longer just about compliance. It was a clear and chilling threat. Serena wasn't just observing. She was gathering data. She meticulously logged every incident, cross-referenced every name, and mapped the network of Arthur Blackwood's associates. Her initial suspicion that he was a simple suburban tyrant gave way to a chilling realization. The AWRA was merely a front for something much larger and more sinister. His company, Apex Community Solutions, wasn't a property management firm. It was a sophisticated data harvesting and influence peddling operation with a deeply racist agenda. They weren't just manipulating real estate markets for profit. They were actively targeting and forcing out specific demographics to maintain what Arthur saw as the racial purity of a neighborhood. Serena wasn't alone in her suspicions. Her next-door neighbor, a quiet, elderly woman named Beatrice Finch, seemed to spend her days tending to her begonias. But Beatrice, with her razor-sharp eyes and serene smile, was a retired specialist in psychological operations and social engineering. She had been watching Arthur for years, quietly gathering her own intel. When she saw the hate symbol on Serena's mailbox, she knew her ally had arrived. Their alliance was a silent pact, a nod and a knowing look that transcended words. Beatrice's home was now a covert command center, her network of drones and monitors scanning Ardan Woods with the precision of a seasoned operative, a quiet act of defiance against a spreading poison. The conflict reached its terrifying climax one moonlit evening. A sleek, unmarked black SUV pulled up to Serena's home, followed by a pickup truck. 4 men, their faces grim, stepped out, dressed in generic, ill-fitting polos and khaki pants. They wore cheap, laminated badges that flashed under the porch light. "We're from the AWRA Compliance Task Force." The leader, a stocky man with a menacing scowl, announced. "We need to discuss your violations. Now." Serena opened her door before they could knock, her voice calm and steady. "Your badges are counterfeit, and your organization is not registered with the county," she said, her arms crossed. "Furthermore, all enforcement actions require a 72-hour written notice." The men were stunned, their prepared lines falling flat. When they tried to force their way inside, their overconfidence gave way to aggression. One grabbed her arm, another reached for the door handle. That was their mistake. In a blur of motion honed by years of training, Serena dislocated the first man's wrist and twisted the second's thumb with a swift, non-lethal precision. The imposters recoiled, their bluster replaced by shock and pain. Just as the leader reached for a weapon in his waistband, two dark, armored SUVs appeared as if from nowhere, silently boxing in their vehicles. A team of federal agents in tactical gear emerged, led by a man with cold, calculating eyes. It was Agent Miller, a former colleague of Serena's, their history a web of shared missions and unspoken understanding that now included a civil rights violation. The imposters were swiftly apprehended, their racist slurs and pleas silenced by the cold steel of handcuffs. The neighborhood, awakened by the commotion, watched from behind their curtains in stunned silence. The arrests were just the beginning. The federal investigation, fueled by Serena and Beatrice's meticulous intelligence, tore apart the facade of Apex Community Solutions. It was exposed as a sophisticated criminal enterprise, a network of illegal data harvesting, blackmail, and political manipulation with a core racist agenda. Arthur Blackwood was arrested in his home, his empire of lies crumbling around him, now facing not just fraud charges, but hate crimes. In the aftermath, Ardan Woods was a changed place. The once friendly gossip was replaced by nervous glances, the cheerful waves by quiet introspection. The residents were forced to confront the chilling reality that their peace was a manufactured illusion, built on a foundation of silent complicity and prejudice. Serena and Beatrice sat on the porch one evening, watching the streetlights illuminate the new, quiet reality. Serena held a mug of coffee, its warmth a small comfort against the lingering coldness of her past. Beatrice brought out a foldable chair and a glass of water, sitting in the silence of mutual understanding. Their battle wasn't just against a petty tyrant. It was against a power that sought to control not with brute force, but with meticulously curated prejudice. The tale of Ardan Woods became a lesson that the greatest threats are often cloaked in the guise of order and kindness, and that true peace is not a gift, but a prize won through constant vigilance and the courage to stand against hate. How do you think the community's reckoning with its own complicity will affect its future? And what new challenges might Serena and Beatrice face now that their purpose has become public?